What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Lion's Den podcast. Or this is just the Christian channel. I don't know. Bro, man, I got a lot for y'all because it's been a minute. If you realize the different setup, I'm still working on making like a really dedicated, dope office space. So give me some time on that. I can't even show y'all. Like, I don't even have the rest of the furniture in here. If you didn't know, I made the move to Charlotte, North Carolina, officially. I moved out of my home state, Maryland, for 23 years, and your boy has stretched his wings and went on my own, man, and I'm so pumped and I'm so excited to see what God's going to do this year, and part of me moving is what's going to go into this pod. I feel like I have a big word today for some of y'all, and we talked about this last night with one of my friends. Went to this cool little wine bar out here, and one of the guys that I met through Elevation, he was bringing up, we were talking about God's sovereignty. And what I want to explain what this means and how this could be directly to help you in your own life right now, whatever season that you are going through, whether it's a good season or fruitful season, or whether it's something that you're in darkness, despair, depression, anxiety, you're stressing, heartbreak, division, being alone. I feel like this word can help you a lot to see things from a different perspective, from a godly perspective. Our minds are finite, bro. We tend to get focused on the things of this world, the finite things, while God is infinite and can see everything as a whole. So I want to kind of dive into that. And first, to get into it, I'm going to give my own personal example of this, how I've been seeing God's sovereignty play out in my life. And I want to give you encouragement because I know that a lot of you guys could be going through certain bad seasons right now. And it's hard to see the other end of the tunnel when you're going through it. And then once you get past it, then hindsight's 2020. You look back and you see how sovereign God is and how good of a father he truly is. So, getting into it, me moving here to Charlotte has been the best thing I could have ever done for my life, for my spiritual health, for my mental health. And it all started, I was talking to JT. JT is one of the guys I met at Elevation. So the whole thing that happened here. So if you guys know a little bit of my story and how I struggled with depression, anxiety, and one of the pastors that really helped kind of bring me towards closer to God was Stephen Furtick. And I would like to say even that Stephen helped play a role. And I give all the glory to God. I know Stephen would too. But God working through Stephen helped save my life physically on this earth, save my life. So for me, when I looked through my emails, I don't know, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and I saw an email from Elevation asking if I wanted to go on on the youth podcast, which is with JT, Elijah, and Nate. JT and Nate being like two of my really reasons why I moved here, to have really good friends. And then Elijah, who's Stephen's son, who I'm also good friends with. He's out going to Liberty right now. So basically, what started from an email, and then I came down here, loved Charlotte initially. I loved talking to these guys. I did a podcast for them. And we just had a good vibe, and it started kind of clicking in my head of like, yo, I kind of like this area. And what basically led to me coming down a few more times, meeting with them, developing a good friendship with Nate and JT, where these guys are, really good, like iron sharpens iron, like really good spiritual brothers to have that will speak life into me and pray for me that I never experienced before in any friendships back at home, right? And it made me really be like, think if I'm missing out on something like this, and I wanted more of it. So came out to Charlotte a lot more and talked to them even more about what God is doing this year, what God is going to be doing with social media. God is going to take back social media, and I said that to JT last night, and like he had a word from God about that exact same thing 3 years ago. And we were just cumulatively talking, and it's like God is bringing everyone to this point now where, although I've been doing this stuff for 3 years, I feel like whatever this is, what is happening right now is going to be the beginning, and it's going to be the beginning of something huge. It's going to be a huge movement of Jesus in the youth over the next year. On social media, in the youth, it's going to become more mainstream. No longer it's going to be seen as something that is uncool or cringy. It's going to be a mainstream thing. You're going to see bigger creators more and more become more open about their faith this year, and they're going to be more connected together. We're not going to be apart. We're going to be set together, and we're going to build up the community in the kingdom of heaven through social media, through young people, because social media has been taken over by earthly things, by lustful things, by everything of the world, showing you things that you think that you want to see to get successful. The money, the cars, the private jets, the woman, the lust, all this stuff is on social media, is shoved right in front of your face 24/7. And I think God's going to take it back this year. So kind of got off topic there a little bit. But the aspect of God's sovereignty is that I see him bringing all this together. And the fact that this, me coming here, being at the best point in my life I've ever been, physically, mentally, spiritually, just, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. And back home in Maryland, I didn't see it. And I don't know how to explain it, bro. The fact that it started from an email to put me in the position now where I am primed and ready to literally do everything I need to do for not even just my personal stuff, but for God and for his kingdom. And I've been, things are just becoming, it's like the dominoes are all falling right into place. And it all started from an email asking me to come on a podcast, and I wouldn't have met these great friends here. I wouldn't have been connected to Elevation, none of that stuff if it wasn't for God's sovereignty. So what I want to explain to you is at the end of last year, I was going through it, right? I know you guys know that I was like depressed, down bad, all that stuff. And it got really bad, right? And then I basically went on a trip to Tennessee, spent time with God, refound him again, kind of. In the big two words that I got, if you watch the whole podcast, was God being my first fan, not seeing myself through social media lens, as I was getting a lot of hate and stuff at the time. And then 2 was the whole aspect of being lukewarm. So going into the new year, I kind of rededicated my focus. And since then, God has freed me from so many things. God has freed me from financial burdens, from worrying about just like trying to always focus on money and making more money. Has freed me from certain relationships. And just like, I don't know, bro. It's because I know, and I talked about this last night with JT, was that when we tend to have problems in our own life, it's like we're working on a puzzle, but because we're finite human beings, we focus on a really small piece of the puzzle where we're trying to fit it and it won't fit in. So we start getting stressed, anxious, and depressed because we can't fit that puzzle piece in to where it needs to go. And then God, who sees the infinite, is able to pick up that piece because he sees the whole picture, is able to put it right where it was supposed to go. And then after the event passes, you're able to look back and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Like, I'm happy that he did this for me. But when you're going through the storm, when you're going through the tunnel and you can't really see the other side, it's kind of hard because you can't see anything. There's no light. It's hard. And you kind of get focused, hyper-focused on that moment. You get stressed, depressed. You feel alone. You don't really know what's happening. You feel like God's abandoned you. And then once you kind of keep going through that tunnel, keep, not stopping, and you start to see that little speck of light at the end of the tunnel, you keep chasing it, pursuing it. Once that illuminates everything, you then can see why and how God was moving through your life and how loving he has been the entire time, how sovereign he is and how good of a father that he is, and that he actually never did abandon you. He was actually working everything out for your good. And you didn't see it before, but now you see it now after the event happened. So I'm just trying to give encouragement to anyone who's going through anything that's dark or difficult right now, because I'm seeing it in my own life. The last 6 months, I've seen it. Like he's already done it before back in 2020 when he kind of delivered me of the whole anxiety, depression thing. But it's kind of like he's redoing it again, helping me refocus and find new purpose in life. Like never before. And again, like I am just so much more fulfilled, happier now, and everything. The fruits of the spirit just like overflowing in my soul. Like I don't know how to explain it, but if you're going through a hard season like I was at the end of last year, rededicate to God, trust in him, have faith. It's hard. Again, it's easier said than done. When you're going through a storm, it's harder to have faith because you sometimes start doubting God, but just know that that's from the devil. That is not of the Lord. Any fear, doubt is not from God. If you trust in his word because his word is true, that's all you need. JT gave a good reference last night. It was about the verse about I have to find the verse but something about a lamp at your foot, like your foot basically, of what God is. And it's like he said that a lamp is enough light to just show you where your next step is. It's not going to show you the whole path and illuminate the whole path for you, but as long as you keep taking those steps with God, he will lead you to your bigger purpose. And you might not see the end of it right now because there's not enough light, but if you can just trust in God and keep taking every step forward, I promise you, bro, you'll get to the end of it and then you'll see what God was doing the whole time, how he was sovereign, loving, and a good father the entire time. You might not see it now, but I promise you, bro, you just keep moving. Like Stephen just had a sermon last Sunday where he says you're not stuck unless you stop, which was like such a good word, because a lot of us, I feel like we tend to get in that and then we want to give up, we want to stop. But you're not stuck unless you stop. Any amount of steps forward you make is still progress. So just giving encouragement. If you're going through it, bro, just know, man, God is sovereign. He's a loving father. He's there for you. And he has not abandoned you, even though it might feel like he has. And if you can't hear him, bro, get closer to him. Pursue him. We live in a noisy society. There's so much noise in our lives every day. And God speaks in a still small voice. So how are you going to hear him when you're constantly around noise 24/7. I don't just mean physical noise. I mean emotional, like other spiritual noise. Like, if you're going through hardship, it's hard sometimes to hear him because you're constantly trying to do things. You're constantly trying to distract yourself. So when you want to really hear God, he speaks in a still small voice. And again, I made this analogy in a different video. If I got a call on a landline phone and I don't see the caller ID and I pick it up, and within the 2 seconds, if it's my mom calling, I know instantly it's my mom, because I know and I recognize her voice because I grew up with my mom, hearing her, spending time with her every day, right? If I got a call from a person I went to middle school with and they're talking to me, I will not have any idea who it is. I won't recognize it whatsoever. So the more intimate your relationship is with God, and the more you spend time with him intimately, building and feeding your spirit, the way you feed your spirit is through fellowship, through reading his word, through worship, through prayer. That's how you feed and you build up your spirit. The closer you will be to God, and the more you will know him and recognize him when he's speaking to you, you will recognize and hear his voice. So if you feel like he's far from you, or you can't hear him, or you can't see him, feed your spirit. Easier said than done, like I said. But again, the more you feed the spirit, you lose the desires of the flesh. So the same way we grow our muscles through resting, sleeping, training, you feed your spirit, get closer to God. You will recognize his voice. You will recognize when he's speaking to you, and that will give you what you need to go through whatever you're going through right now. So yeah, that's a quick word, but I wanted to get something out for y'all. Again, once I get this whole setup kind of done and like a little better office space, we should be Gucci. We should be good. But yeah, love y'all. God bless each and every one of you. I'm excited for what God's going to do this year through socials, through everything, through however God wants to use me. Let it be done. And I hope whatever you're going through, that God gives you peace through it. I hope that you have joy and you understand to trust in God through this season, because it might not be fun while you're going through it, but one day you'll look back and you'll be so happy that God made you go through it. So just think about things in that. Know that God is sovereign, and that he's a good father, and that he loves you and wants your best interest at heart. So trust in him. Lean not on your own understanding. All right. Love y'all. God bless. Oh, Elysium. I don't think we have a sale right now, but if you guys want to support Elysium Athletic, Young LA has a drop on the 22nd. So in 2 days, Young LA's having a drop. Code Alex, 15% off. And if you didn't know, I'm with Rise Supplements now. So if you guys want to cop some pre-workout protein, greens, health supplements, anything, the link will be down below in the description. Code Alex, 15% off. All right. Love y'all. God bless. Till next time. Peace out.